Hi there, welcome to Clarke Auction's November Fine Art Auction Preview. I'll be sharing with you some of the highlights from the auction, which includes an important collection of Al Hirschfeld illustrations and a selection of African American art featuring the artist Vincent D. Smith. I'm now going to start with a Singaporean artist named Tan Cho T. We have 4 of these works which are not cataloged or allotted in the fine arts section, but they're in our Oriental section later in the sale. As you can see, he's an artist known for doing depictions of life in Singapore and the surrounding areas. We now move on to a portrait print by Chuck Close of Alex Katz, the artist. This is number 75 of 75 edition of prints. And above that, we have the first of our African American section by Vincent D. Smith, the jazz musicians, and this is estimated at $6,000 to $9,000. We're now moving on to the remaining Tan Cho T's selection here, and moving over to the next large work that we have of musicians by the American artist William Grouper. This is a fabulous large work, and we do have some damage on it, but that can be repaired. Moving above that, we have the first of 2 Louis Bemelmans. This is a watercolor on board, and it's estimated at $4,000 to $6,000. Now moving again along, upper, we have another Vincent D. Smith of the Sharecroppers. And moving down, another Smith, Nocturne. And one of the highlights below that is a French illustration by George Mateus. This comes from the Koons Gallery and was at MoMA's Art Lending program, and it comes from a direct descendant of the purchaser at the museum. We're now going to the first of the Al Hirschfelds, Some Like It Hot. We've got Marilyn Monroe and Tony Curtis. It's a great illustration from 1959. And above that we have Kojak, Who Loves Ya Baby? It's from TV Guide in 1977, another Al Hirschfeld. And then we're going to now move over to another Vincent D. Smith, done in 1955. And below that on the floor, we've got an Ernest Critchkow illustration by another African American artist. And this is estimated at $3,000 to $5,000. Moving around, we have a screen by Petrardy, done in the 1940s. And then we move to the wall where we have a 19th century American painting, unknown artist, but it's a lovely depiction of a boy and girl, and that's estimated at $2,000 to $3,000. We're now going to move over to another Vincent D. Smith. This one was done in the 70s. It's work on paper, and this is estimated at $3,000 to $4,000. Going above here, we have another Bemelmans of the famous Madeline, and this is estimated at $2,000 to $3,000. We're now moving down to the contemporary photographer, John Patrick Dugdale. Below that is a really exciting Abraham Wolkowitz etching done in the 1920s. It's a rather rare print at $6,000 to $9,000. And we now move over to the Monkeys, also by Al Hirschfeld. That is estimated at $3,000 to $5,000. And below that, we have this really exciting Wizard of Oz by Al Hirschfeld, which is estimated at $20,000 to $30,000. Moving along the wall, we're going up high again. We have another John Patrick Dugdale. And then coming down, we have yet another exciting Vincent D. Smith. And that is estimated at $6,000 to $9,000. And below that we have William Stanley Hayter, the British artist. This is an original work on paper and its lyrical forms. and that is estimated at $1,000 to $1,500. We now move to a maritime picture by William Stubbs, and this was done in the early 20th century, and it has an estimated, it's estimated at $2,000 to $3,000. We're now in the main gallery, and we're going to look at some other items here. We're going to start with up top, which we have 3 examples by the British artist Barbara Hepworth, 3 prints. Each print is estimated at $2,000 to $3,000, and below that we have yet another Vincent D. Smith work done in 1964. We're now moving along. We have this fabulous Nocturnal Moon by the Australian artist Peter Link. And moving along, we have some more Vincent Smiths. We have a Baskin at top. We've got George Gross prints, Salvador Dali prints. And the next thing that we'd like to look at is by a contemporary British artist named P.J. Crook. What's interesting about her is she's also painted the frame. We're now looking along here. We've got a Russian artist named Grista Bruskin, and this is a print, and it's estimated at $1,200 to $1,800. Next up, we have a work by Howard Mandel. Interesting thing about this work, it was exhibited at the Met Museum in New York in 1950. Moving along the wall, we have a picture by Jennings Toffel. It's called The Conflict. Next, we're moving along to an exciting picture by Nicola Simbari of a landscape. This was done in the 1980s and has an estimate of $1,000 to $1,500. Next up, we have an interesting maritime picture by the African-American artist Joe Selby, who worked in Florida. Above that, we have a Mexican artist named Francis Cornell. Next up, we have this fabulous nude portrait by the German artist Nissl, which is estimated at $2,000 to $3,000. We come to an interesting contemporary artist named Helena Mazapa, a Russian-Venezuelan artist, and they're estimated at a mere $600 to $800. And for those Hungarian collectors, we have a Visely painting of some carts on a road, a painting by the Circle of Collins, a landscape. We have a circle of Tylee Rainey, which is another cart scene. As we pan along, we've got some great examples of Louis Eichhardt prints and also some German Expressionist prints. And that wraps it up for this sale. So we look forward to seeing you on the 12th, and thank you for watching.